was in Pike's face as he unloaded the football. Charles Sheffield was the defensive back covering. Our referee, Tony Cannella, will likely call an illegal defense, and there's the indication. Be the first flag of the evening against the Florida Firecats.
Illegal defense against Florida, a twist. 5-yard penalty and automatic first down.
Now a twist is as the name implies.
It's when the nose guard and the end twist, which you cannot do in this league. The only people that can twist are the nose guard and the MAC backer, and they've got to rush the A and B gaps there right off the center. This is great to see, though, early in the ballgame. These officials are on their game. They got the legal defense. That back judge is doing his job. He just picked up a twist. If they're not picking up those calls, that could wreak havoc on Peoria all night because Florida would continue to do it.
The only time twisting is legal is on the kicking game. You can do some twisting in an attempt to block a kick. Pike with the first down toss. Overthrows his intended receiver, Charles Sheffield. Pike just the least little bit off here in the early going. Had pressure, though, as Eric Boland of Florida came calling. Pike in the early moments is just 1 of 4 for 3 yards.
Well, he's a little shaky right now, Eli, but I tell you why. It's because the defensive backs from Florida right now aren't given a lot of room. The receivers from Peoria just aren't getting that space for Pike to get the ball to him right away.
On the 2nd and 10, Henderson and Craig. Motion man Sheffield. He'll try the ground game as Brian Archibald, the fullback out of Southern Illinois University, gets across midfield to about the 23-yard line. Archibald, the number 4 rusher during the course of the regular season. That's only, however, the 11th carry of the year for him. But again, if you're new to this game, you may not know that rushing is something that you call on the rarest of occasions.
Only when you have to. Take it from a coach. This is a passing game, and I was a quarterback, and I'm going to throw it as a coach, that's for sure.
Peoria 0 of 1 in 3rd down conversions. Here's a 3rd and 6 play. Pike, for his 2nd completion of the day, makes it, but it is short of the first down. Charles Sheffield, who was acquired on waivers from Louisville, spun around the defensive specialist Richard Jones, but was short of the first down. So here in the early going, Coach Bruce Cowdrey is going to probably try for a 4th down play. As you watch it again, Pike makes the grab, but you see a couple of yards shy. Peoria on the year, 15 of 25 in 4th down conversions. That's 60%. This their first of the day. It's a 4th and a long 2. Play clock at 6, 5, 4, 3, and now the whistles. Peoria moves. Looked as though Peoria's right side of the offensive line jumped as things get a little short temper-wise here in the early going.
If I'm John Forcade right now, I'm getting on that defense. I don't want to get this crowd back into the ballgame. They've taken them out early. It's quiet.
Penalty, still 4th down.
Damon Gibson, number 77 on the offensive line, who was a 2nd-team All-Big East performer when he played for the Pitt Panthers, the guilty party. So now it is going to be 4th and nearly 8, a long 7. And a crucial situation. If you turn it over on downs at midfield, you give Florida a wonderful opportunity. Henderson in motion. Pike throws, catch is made, first down. Big play to Charles Sheffield, who makes the grab inside of Richard Jones. Just does pick up the 4th down. Gutsy call right there.
This is a great throw by Matt Pike. He really had nowhere to go with the ball. Both receivers to the wide side were covered. He got it right into Sheffield with Richard Jones playing pretty good coverage on the weak side.
So it is a 1st and 10. Football now at the 14-yard line of Florida. Just joining us, Peoria is in black. The Florida Firecats out of Fort Myers, they are in the white. Pike from behind. A lot of guys have felt that in their football career. Dunstan Anderson, big number 90. Yes, that is the same Dunstan Anderson who has played 4 years in the National Football League. He talks very openly about the fact that he had a drug problem. He went through the NFL's drug rehab program, but he's been with the Dolphins, the Dallas Cowboys, won a Super Bowl ring. He's been with Atlanta and the Chicago Bears.
Well, right there's a coverage sack. It looked like they were trying to set up a screen. Florida wasn't blitzing their linebackers, so they sat there, read it, picked up the fullback coming out. Pike had nowhere to go.
Sixth play of the drive upcoming here for Peoria. Pike looking, throwing in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Larry Henderson. He had a step on Roy Stabler, and Henderson, who was claimed off waivers from the Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League. A good speedster, a track guy, but that play is going to be coming back in any event. Looks like holding will be the call on Peoria's offensive front.
Holding number 66 of the offense. Penalties declined. Third down.
Jason Henney, who played with Bruce Cowdrey, the head coach, last year in Pensacola, the guilty party.
You talk about speed. Henderson has 4.29 speed, and that's unreal. But until he learns to use it on this smaller field, learns to use the angles, it's not going to do him any good. Right there, Stabler was really able to stay right with him on that route and help make the play, even though he really did drop it.
DeMond Gibson just limps to the bench for Peoria. We'll talk more about that in a moment as Pike on a third down play has time. He looks, he throws. It is caught in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown, Cornell Craig, 80 yards on the reception, beating Roy Stabler. And I'll tell you, in an end zone or in a building where the end zones are shortened because of the configuration of the building, that was a tough play to make.
It really is. You don't want to make a living throwing corner routes with end zones that are rounded because there's just no room, but Matt Pike does a great job of putting it where it has to be for Cornell Craig. Craig makes a great catch, concentrating, going into the wall.
Craig Baker, extra point attempt, no good, off the net, and it is now a 7-6 ball game. Florida with the lead. Take a look. You see the corners of the end zone, how they are rounded, and you'll see where Pike right here goes to Cornell Craig. In many buildings, you've got actually as many as 5, 6, maybe even 7 more yards, but in a rounded end zone like you'd have here and in other buildings across the country, you lose a lot. They made a nice play right there.
It really does make it difficult, but Eli, where it's really going to make it hard is when they're down on the 5 in the red zone, the 5 going in. There's not a lot of room when you're running your end zone, your red zone offense, and when they cut off the corners of those end zones, it makes it so much harder to call plays.
The AF2, Arena Football 2. We're back in a moment. Back in time for the kickoff here at the Peoria Civic Center. Florida in white with a 7-6 lead over the Peoria Pirates. Off the net, here's Jared Ware with a big seam. Out to the 18-yard line, and that's where Florida goes to work. Jason Short on the stop, special teams for the Peoria Pirates. Florida is an interesting story. They come into the playoffs with 7 losses. That's the most that any team had ever had coming into the playoffs. The Tennessee Valley Vipers from Huntsville, Alabama, had a 10-6 record when they went to the playoffs in the postseason for the 2000 season. Florida with 7 losses, but as we said in the opening of the telecast, they believe that they should be here. Benton, Dixon, and Ware. They're wide. Benton, the motion man. Brian Sparacino's pass deflected at the line of scrimmage by Peoria. It is incomplete. Antonio the Bear Brown with that deflect at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Brown does a good job of getting his hands up. That's what you like to teach a lineman. If he's not getting to the quarterback and he sees the quarterback's arm coming through, get your hands up, knock the ball down. Brown did a good job.
Bear is a great story. We'll talk more about him as our evening continues. Sparacino under center. Again, Benton in motion. Going to Magic Benton with a flag down. Pass is incomplete, but there are flags on the play. Once more, an illegal defense on the Peoria Pirates. That'll be the third flag. Looked as though the linebacker Brian Archibald, the rookie out of Southern Illinois, the guilty party.
Illegal defense. The Jack linebacker blitz number 7. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Jason Short, they'll call him. Archibald was out of the box, but Short was the man who blitzed illegally, and that happened before Archibald went out of the box. So Jason Short, who was the special teams player of the year for Eastern Michigan University a couple of years ago, brings out that flag, and it's a first down now near midfield for Florida. Florida leads 7-6. 3.5 remaining opening period. Dedrick Moffitt turns the corner on the pitch and out to the 20-yard line. There's a good look at Moffitt. 10 games last year.
Eli, anytime you can run the ball for 6 or 7 yards on first down, you're way above the game. He could have gone a lot further if he wouldn't have tripped right there. But 6 yards on a run in this league is great. You're always looking for at least 3, but 6 will take any time.
Moffitt is again the fullback. Benton once more in motion on the 2nd and 4. Here's Moffitt again. First down for Dedrick and more with those dreadlocks flailing in the breeze. Lincoln Dupree shoves him out of bounds, and they think, at least John Forcade does, the head coach of Florida, they have found something that they can exploit.
Well, what's happening right now is they're hooking the ends from Peoria and they're getting outside. Well, what's going to happen now is the DBs from Peoria are going to have to come up and help make the tackle. Well, now look for Ben Bennett to maybe run some fake toss post with the receivers and getting behind the DBs from Peoria.
Rushing defense, Peoria is giving up 28 yards a ball game on the ground. That's a lot in this league. They'll fake the toss and throw it up the middle. Nobody there. They tried the center screen after faking the toss, but the pass didn't work and nobody was fooled on the part of the Peoria defense.
What they were trying to do is get the wing middle screen to Dixon right there. We're going to see it on the replay. He's just going to fake like he's blocking. He's going to come in, and the center just gets in the way of the pass right there.
Greg DuBose, the Florida center, the man who is front and center that time. 2nd down and 10, a minute 43 remaining opening quarter. 7-6 Florida, wide open. Grab is made. Anthony Dixon to the 5. Lincoln Dupree comes up to stick him. Anthony Dixon is a great story, number 2 there. He is an assistant coach at Estero High School down in Florida, just outside of Fort Myers. And Coach John Forcade is saying that number 2 there, Dixon, is like having another coach on the field with him. And he's not the fastest guy, maybe not the most athletic, but could be one of the best players in the league.
He's a darn good, consistent arena football player is what he is.
Benton in motion. Across the middle, incomplete, nearly picked off. Rufus White was the man who was the intended receiver, the tight end.
There's Ben Bennett with the fake toss, trying to get the ball either to the tight end. But obviously, if we know it up here, so does Bruce Cowdrey, and they read it perfect defensively. They didn't overcommit. They held to their responsibilities and were right there to make the play.
7th play of the drive. If they go to Dedrick Moffitt again, the running back, he already has 13 yards in the series. That is the most in Arena Cup history. Dixon in motion. He gets the handoff. Flags are down. Dixon to the 3. Looked as though there were 2 men moving that time for Florida at the snap. Certainly that works in the Canadian Football League, but does not in the AFL or AF2.
We can have one guy going towards the line of scrimmage, but only one. Looked like Moffitt, what he did was just get cut. Well, the look to Florida guys, I don't know what they're going to call here.
And the officials are going to, looks like they may just pick up the hanky.
No flag on the play. The high motion man did not come to a stop. Therefore, the formation was legal. First down, Florida.
Good explanation by Tony Cannella. Tony was graded out as #1. All of these officials earned their way to this game, as did the teams. The teams survived the tournament, if you will. The officials graded out as the best of the lot. First and goal from the 3. The give. Dixon follows the blockers to the goal line. Is he in? No signal yet. Dedrick Moffitt, the fullback, and the left side of the offensive line, leading Dixon just short of the touchdown. And the quarter has come to an end. So the first quarter ends with Florida leading 7-6, and they are knocking at the door. And as it says, we'll be right back. Quarterback sneak. But there was no sneaking there. The Peoria defensive line just ate up the Florida offensive front.
They did that really well. What they did is got penetration, got low, and got to Sparacino and beat the offensive line from Florida to the punch.
First quarter stats: total yardage, Florida 59, Peoria 34. Florida 35 in the air, Peoria 39 in the air. Third down and goal. Magic Benton, the man in motion. Darrell Lane, the fullback here. He's got it. He's over the top. He does not get in. Football came loose. The play was dead. What defense by Titcus, Pettigrew, and others as they stuff the big fullback Darrell Lane, 6'2", 285, flying through the air.
Well, Lane tries to get up and over, but the defense from Peoria is right there waiting.
Brandon Campbell also there with a spectacular hit on Darrell Lane, and Florida has taken timeout. And Tina, Coach Fran Papasadero of the Orlando Predators is down there with you. I wonder what he thought of that tackle.
Eli, thank you. I am joined by Fran Papasadero, who is the head coach and director of football operations for the Orlando Predators of the Arena Football League. And Coach, in your rookie season as a head coach, you did lead the Predators to the playoffs. But are you doing any scouting tonight at the Arena Cup?
Absolutely. I can't believe the talent level that's out here. These guys obviously love the game, to play for what they play for. I'm excited to look at some of these guys and maybe get a chance to get them on a roster.
Watching them tonight, what do you think the difference is in talent level between the AF2 and the Arena Football League?
Well, I think that, in any league, you always have a little difference in the linemen. There's about 3 or 4 guys that, I see that could probably go and make the jump, and then the other guys. But the skill positions, the wide receivers and the defensive backs, they're strong, and they could definitely make a transition.
Coach, thank you. Good luck next year in Orlando again.
Thank you.
Fourth and goal. Florida trying to punch it in. Dixon turns the corner. He is there. He does not get in. Peoria will hold. What containment on the part of Damon Gibson, and then Titcus Pettigrew puts him down.
What an incredible defensive stand or goal line stand by Peoria right there. They needed that. They got the fans back in the ballgame. This place is electric right now. And then you've got a little scuffle going out between Ben Bennett, the coach of Florida, and Pettigrew, one of the receivers, defensive backs from Peoria.
So a first down now for the Peoria Pirates. With Florida leading 7-6, Peoria takes over on downs. A spectacular defensive stop. Pass deflected, incomplete, as Matt Pike had the pass tipped away by Darrell Lane. The Florida defensive line has really been impressive here. They have broken up. That is the 16th pass that the Florida defensive line has broken up in the playoffs.
Well, that's the experience of Darrell Lane right there. Coming in knowing he's not getting to the quarterback, but throwing his hands up and just knocking the ball down by luck.
Matt Pike out of Purdue, the quarterback. From the end zone throws. Grab is made, first down. Titcus Pettigrew steps out of bounds. They'll spot it around the 16-yard line. Terrell Sutton on the stop. Pettigrew, who played for Joe Paterno at Penn State University, was a defensive back and wide receiver in Happy Valley, makes him perfect for this league.
Absolutely. Two-way players are so hard to find. Either they do one thing great and the other thing not so good. But when you can find one that plays them both well, you jump on that guy and you hold on to him, and Pettigrew can do that.
Pettigrew got married back in July. His wife, Bonnie, is a professional volleyball player. Pike to throw. Pettigrew, the grab to the 14-yard line. So again, the Pike to Pettigrew combination is working. Roy Stabler in on the stop after a pickup of 20 yards on the play.
Well, I really like what Bruce Cowdrey is doing here. He has a lot of speed. Everybody knows they can go by defensive backs, but the defensive backs from Florida are thinking that. So what they're doing is they're keeping everything underneath, hitting the outs, the stops, and not trying to force the ball down the field.
11:44 remaining opening half. Low scoring affair. Florida on top, 7-6. Here's Pike to throw. There's Pike to lose the football. It's covered for a moment by Florida. Then it comes loose to Jason Henney, who'll cover it up for the Peoria Pirates. That'll be the second sack of the day. It'll go officially as a sack. Harley and Jolly, the two men who came through to put the pressure for Florida.
Fred Harley's kicking himself right now because he tried to take the pick and run rather than getting down on the ball and recover. And he had the thing in his hand, but he tried to advance it, didn't get it. Henney got it. And now Peoria's back in business.
Jason Henney out of Central Missouri State with that big recovery. On the second and about 18, the throw across the middle, catch is made. Magic Benton can't hang on to Brandon Campbell, who'll fight his way for some extra yardage inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line.
What Brandon Campbell does nice here is he comes, runs his hook route. Pike doesn't see him, and he just keeps moving into the eye line of Pike. Finally, Pike sees him, gets him the ball, and he catches it and moves it down the field.
And I had said Magic Benton. That was Quincy Sorrell on the cover right there. Out of Nichols State, the man who couldn't quite hang on to the receiver. So now the 3rd and 6. Pike with time throws that one away, incomplete. Looking for Brandon Campbell. You know, Matt Pike, the quarterback, the only man that I know of whose nickname, he answers to the name of his coach's dog. Coach Cowdrey's dog is named Sarah. And the coach says, I'll say, come here, Sarah, and the dog never responds. And he said, during practice, I'll say, come here, Matt. Matt never responds, and so I started calling him Sarah, just like the dog, and that's what he answers to now.
I tell you, Bruce Cowdrey's full of stories. If you sit around and listen to him for a while, you laugh, laugh, laugh.
Craig Baker, who missed a 58-yarder before, tries the 25-yard field goal. It is up and good. That is the first one of that distance that he has made this year. So the 25-yard field goal by Craig Baker. And the Peoria Pirates take the 9-7 lead here at the Peoria Civic Center. It was a 6-play scoring drive, 40 yards in 4 minutes and 8 seconds for the Peoria Pirates. A 10-point swing right there. Remember, on that 4th and goal, the 7 points that Florida didn't get, Mike Hold, and the 3 that Peoria did.
That was really, really the turning point right now, because Florida had an opportunity to take this crowd out of the ball game. Peoria didn't let them do it. They're back on top, and now the crowd's the 9th man in this place, and it is electric right now.
Magic Benton is deep for Florida. The kickoff from Craig Baker. End over end. It is short. It is off the back wall. That is, by rule, a touchback right there. So the football will come out. Florida's last drive, the one on which they did not score, was 11 plays, 31 yards. They used up 6 minutes and turned the ball over on downs. But I think quite safe to say the turning point for Florida this year came in a game that, Mike, you could probably speak to, I think, the Augusta game, when somebody on your team said that they wouldn't even score 25 points, and Florida scored 54, beat you guys 54-28, and since then they've only lost once.
Well, for some reason I don't remember that game, game too well, but I tell you what, after we did play them, I knew this team was for real.
Sparacino to Benton. What a grab and a great job hanging onto the football. What a spectacular job as Benton wandered into the land of Lincoln. I mean, we're all in Illinois, but that was really the land of Lincoln. Lincoln Dupree, who drilled him, but somehow Benton held on for a 25-yard pickup.
They played zone coverage right there. Magic Benton got into what we call the dead area. Sparacino made a great throw. It was great coverage with Dupree coming over the top, but Magic Benton takes the hit and holds on.
Benton out of the University of Miami in motion. They fake the pitch. Here comes pressure, and there's the smart play on the part of the quarterback to throw it away as Brian Sparacino just tosses it. Derek Coakley just busted straight through. Now Sparacino, remember we told you, Tina did, that he was hurt in last week's game against Cape Fear. Timeout now by the officials, as after he releases the football, Sparacino got drilled. He is already scheduled for surgery on his knee next Tuesday, and they are going to have to bring in Josh Rogers. Sparacino injured his arm in the second quarter against Cape Fear last week. He has a broken bone, a chipped bone in his throwing arm. He felt soreness in his rotator cuff earlier this week. Yesterday, well, actually 2 days ago, Wednesday was the first day this week that he threw the football after the injury last weekend. The backup quarterback is Josh Rogers, who played with Cape Fear in AF2 last year, but Rogers has taken a grand total of just a few snaps this year. 12 snaps, we are told, is all that Josh Rogers has taken, but he has a cannon for an arm. So that man right there getting talked to by his offensive coordinator, Ben Bennett. But as a coach, Mike Holt, how disruptive is this?
Very much so. Sparacino's the guy that got you here. Josh Rogers, yes, he has talent. In those 12 snaps he's taken, none of them have been quality snaps. They've just been in the mop-up role. So what is he going to do? How is he going to react mentally? Sparacino's been the leader of this team all the way. Now you've got Josh Rogers coming in there. You know Josh Rogers is nervous. To take a big snap in a game like this, the biggest game of the year for this team. Let's see how he comes out and handles this.
Rogers, as we told you, has not attempted a pass in the playoffs. In the regular season, Rogers 3 of 5 passing, 27 yards, 1 touchdown. He has carried the football once for 1 yard. He has appeared in 2 regular season games, and now this game right here. Rogers, 3-step drop, wide open, battle for, incomplete, intercepted for a touchback by Lincoln Dupree. Intercepted by Dupree, but there may well be a pass interference call. Let's wait and see. Dupree came down with the ball in the end zone for the touchback, but there will likely be a flag, and there you see the preliminary indication. 4th penalty of the Knights against Peoria.
Illegal contact, number 17 in the defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Lincoln Dupree, the guilty party.
Well, it's hard to see it on the replay, but what Lincoln Dupree does well is he's getting beat, so he grabs the guy. What the heck? It's a 5-yard penalty, no big deal, no harm, no foul.
But it is a brand new first down series for Florida. Magic Benton in motion. Here's the run for Moffitt. Diedrich Moffitt inside the 5 to the 4-yard line.
The defensive ends from Peoria need to get outside. They're getting hooked by the guard and tight end from Florida. And if they continue to do this, they're going to get 8-9 yards a run every time.
And there's the pitch once more. 3 carries, 22 yards for Diedrich Moffitt here tonight. Nice block also by Jarvis Jolly, who helped him turn the corner. Again, these rushing yards, the most ever in Arena Cup championship game history. Josh Rogers, the quarterback, gives now to Anthony Dixon, who comes left to the 5 to the 4-yard line. Charles Sheffield, the man who trips him up for the Peoria Pirates. I'll tell you, it gets awfully tough inside the 5-yard line, and particularly against that defensive Peoria.
It's so hard to call plays down here, Eli. There's not very much room to throw the ball, especially when your corners are cut off, so you've got to run it. Now, Peoria is gearing back and looking for the run. What Ben Bennett ought to think about doing here is faking a dive or something, trying to get one of the cornerbacks to come up and then throwing a little fade over to the sidelines.
Terrell Sutton will go wide to the top of your screen. Benton is in motion. Big hole, turns it upfield, touchdown Florida. Dedrick Moffitt following Jarvis Jolly, a 3-yard touchdown run.
Great blocking by the Florida line, and especially the Florida receivers right there. Jarvis Jolly, Anthony Dixon, Magic Bent, they're all out there blocking, doing their job.
This also, to some degree, simplifies the offense for new quarterback Josh Rogers to get his feet under him and his legs under him.
Absolutely. You don't want to throw him to the wolves right off the bat, and you're able to come in and run the ball, give him time to adjust, get the nerves out.
Now, Rogers is not the normal holder here either. Let's see how it affects Brandon Kornblue on the extra point. Well, it didn't help any, that's for sure, as the kick is no good. So you lose your quarterback. It affects many facets of the game, and you can see right there the special teams coaches, head coach John Forcade, the kicker, and the quarterback now talking about exactly how best to hold the football in the kicking game. 5 plays, 45 yards, 3:58, the scoring drive for Florida. Coach Bruce Cowdrey. You talk about the man's effectiveness. This is the 6th year of professional football coaching for him. This is the 5th championship game he's been in those 6 years. Of course, one of the great collegiate coaches going.
He's been the head coach in Peoria 3 seasons. He skipped last year, was down in Pensacola. Part of that 2 years in the IFL. All 3 years he's been here, he's brought the championship game here to Peoria.
He was also the offensive coordinator in 1991 when the Toronto Argonauts won the Grey Cup in the Canadian Football League. So now the kick. Lincoln Dupree off the net. He had a 24-yard run back earlier. This one is going to be more than that. We've seen this before. Touchdown, Lincoln Dupree, 55 yards. He has already had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns in the postseason. He had 8 kickoff returns for touchdowns in the regular season. He had 1 field goal return for a touchdown in the regular season. That's what Lincoln Dupree means to this football team.
Great job of blocking downfield by the Peoria players. One of them, I'm not sure who it was, hit Quincy Sorrell. He ran into Kevin Huntley, took both of them out of the play with one guy. He went down the field and picked up somebody else. Also, Florida was not hustling down on that kick.
Craig Baker adds the extra point. And it's now a 16-13 lead for Peoria over the Florida Firecats. Lincoln Dupree. He was first team all-conference in college when he played at Eastern Michigan. In Division I AA, he was one of the top players, went to camp with the New York Jets, just couldn't quite stick. And now Florida is going to get the football back as we take another look at Dupree's run back.
Right here is where you're going to see Huntley and Sorrell take themselves out of the game. Right there, you've got a hold. They've missed the holding call. But so many times you see that in arena football. There's just not enough officials to see everything that's going on. But right there, Dedrick Moffitt was being held. That ball should have been coming back.
Now for the Florida Firecats, their starting quarterback, Brian Saraceno, a separation of the AC joint. He is done for the game. So Josh Rogers will quarterback the rest of the way. I asked his head coach, John Forcade, yesterday, what happens if Rogers has to come into the ball game?
What Josh brings to our table is if he has to go in there, he's got athletic ability. He's got a cannon for an arm. We're going to have to tone him down a little bit because he's so hyper that he wants to get in and do things. I have no problems playing Josh if we have to play Josh. Since I can't come off the retirement list and play, we'll have to go with Josh if we need him.
John Forcade himself, a great quarterback at Ole Miss, the University of Mississippi in his days, and of course also with the New Orleans Saints.
Well, as a coach right now, Eli, I'm sure I'm comfortable with Josh Rogers. I wouldn't have him on my team if I wasn't comfortable going to him. But the thing I'm thinking right now is Brian Sparacino is out. He cannot come back. What happens if something happens to Josh Rogers? What do you do now? That's what I start to worry about.
That's when Mike Hold heads downstairs in the broadcast booth. Here is Jared Ware with problems off the net. Gets it out to the 8-yard line before Charles Sheffield is there to make the stop. 4:32 remaining in the opening half. Peoria in black. They're on top 16-13. Saraceno to Anthony Dixon, the first score of the ball game for Florida. Then Matt Pike hit Cornell Craig in a 19-yard touchdown strike, made it 7-6. Peoria took the lead in a 25-yard Craig Baker field goal. Florida reassumed the lead in a 3-yard touchdown run by Dietrich Moffitt, and then the 55-yard kickoff return by Lincoln Dupree. 16-13 Peoria. They will call that one complete at the 10, but there are flags down on the play.
I believe we're going to have a linebacker out of the box. Jason Short was so far outside that when Josh Rogers came to throw to his wing receiver, well,
linebacker was as wide as the fullback, so by rule you're able to do that.
That call makes me madder than anyone, because what they were doing was they were slide protecting with their fullback, taking him out to the defensive end. Well, now they're saying, well, if the fullback does that, the linebacker can go that far. I don't agree with that call right there, the way that they perceive it as officials.
Dietrich Moffitt is the fullback. The quarterback is Josh Rogers. Looking left, runs a bit of a fade pattern, tipped away neatly by Larry Henderson. Henderson, the track guy we talked about earlier, the rookie out of Nebraska, coming up large, and that's where you can't teach speed.
Exactly, and the guy they need to pick on is Henderson, but not in a running down the field type mode. They need to get him in coverage, make him come up and cover people. If he's running down the field, he's going to stay with people. He has 4.29 speed.
He is just a guy, if you will. He's not a flashy guy, but he has that intangible of the speed, and that's something you can't overlook. Third down play. Play clock is at 5, 4, 3. Rogers wide open, first down catch to Kevin Huntley, the former Milwaukee Mustang out of the Arena Football League. They'll give him first down progress to the 21-yard line.
Those type of throws right there will build a lot of confidence in Josh Rogers and also in what Ben Bennett wants to do with him. He comes back, takes a hop step, gets rid of the ball, makes a great throw, gets the first down.
Now, Josh Rogers, the quarterback, we said he played with the Cape Fear team of AF2 last year in Fayetteville, but he has a cannon for an arm. He played collegiately at the University of South Carolina.
And that's always good, seeing that that's my alma mater.
Yeah, he's a Gamecock. He's also a little bit on the, we'll call him flaky, as he pitches it out to Moffitt, who'll get tripped up as he gets to the 21, maybe the 22-yard line. Charles Sheffield on the stop. If he played baseball, if Rogers played baseball, he'd be a left-handed pitcher.
I hate from what I understand, he's a bit
nice
eccentric,
guy,
but a great guy. I talked to him a long time yesterday, and he's really been itching for this opportunity. He knows he has the ability. He has all the confidence in himself. It's just when a Sparacino's playing as well as he has, and you lead him to the Arena Cup, you just don't make changes. Well, here's his opportunity, Josh.
Inside 2 minutes remaining in the half. Rogers fires the strike to Magic Benton. Close to the first down. Lincoln Dupree in on the stop, number 17 in black. We've mentioned Magic Benton so many times. He very little bit of play early in the year. He is a teacher at Tanglewood Elementary School down in the Miami area. Good solid ball player, second year with Florida. Has already caught 4 touchdown receptions in the postseason. As we're now at a minute 25 remaining in the half, so we're closing in on the 1-minute warning and the 1-minute timing rules. First down, Florida, with Peoria on top, 16-13. Rodgers, his third option is open for a touchdown, though he cannot hang on. Magic Benton was the third read on that pattern. You don't often get that much time. He was open, and the Magic Man upset it himself.
Well, right there, we saw what kind of arm Josh Rodgers has. He has a cannon. Look at him stick it in there. He goes to his third read. Very little room to get the ball, and he sticks it right there.
You see that short end zone? We had talked about that earlier. It comes into play. Now, interestingly, we should mention that one of the other buildings in AF2 that has the short end zone is the Titcus Center down in Estero, Florida, where Florida plays their home game. So this is not new for them, but it's still not nearly as luxurious as a wide open, totally rectangular 8-yard deep end zone.
Well, speaking from a coach's perspective, you hate that.
We have reached the 1-minute warning here. We have reached the 1-minute warning. The officials will now tell us that the Pirates have 3 timeouts, and the Firecats will have 2 timeouts remaining. You know, AF2 really has grown this year. This league, which is a developmental league for the Arena Football League, 28 players who were in AF2 last year played in the Arena Football League this year. And there are now better than 100 players, Mike, and you know this as a coach in this league, better than 100 players who have come from AF2 to go either to the NFL, NFL Europe, the Canadian Football League, or the Arena Football League. This is more, there's not lip service when you talk about this being a developmental or feeder system. It really works.
It really is. And when you're playing for $200 a game, you're down here playing because you love it and you want that opportunity to move on. But so many guys come out of college, they might be lacking a little bit of what it takes to get to the next level, or someone overlooked them. And this is an opportunity for these guys to get out here and play the game they love, get some film, be able to send that film out to other teams, higher, you know, the NFL,
sure,
NFL Europe, AF1, and get that opportunity to keep playing the game.
And of course, AF2, strong ownership all around the league. Johnny Unitas, part of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pioneers. Kenny Easley and Bruce Smith with the Norfolk Nighthawks. Kenny Stabler, the Snake, down in Mobile, Alabama with the Wizards. Some solid ownership. Lots of movement at the line of scrimmage. Football is bobbled on the snap. Damon Gibson, number 77 in black, was the man who made the first move. The motion man, as you oftentimes see, comes to the line and then stops. That's one of those plays that the defense will just kill you. The guy comes to the line and stops, and that draws the defense off.
Prior to the snap, illegal formation on the defense and not get back in a 3-point stance. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down. Damon
Gibson, the guilty man right there. And you'll watch when the man comes to the line of scrimmage, he'll stop there, and Damon sees him. And once you get 6'3", 315 going in one direction, you ain't going in reverse.
We call that freeze motion, Eli, and he comes up to the line, and the quarterback, just as he hits the line, the receiver hits the line, quarterback barks it out. When defense are pinning their ears back and coming, and they're getting a lot of pressure on your quarterback, that's what you try to do to slow them down.
56 seconds remaining until halftime. Florida in white has 1 timeout remaining. Peoria in black has all 3. The Pirates in black with a 16-13 lead. Florida has been stymied in the red zone a couple of times tonight. Benton in motion. Rodgers to throw. Rodgers loses the football. It is still loose and covered up by Peoria. Titcus, Pettigrew comes up with the football, and Peoria with a chance to add some points prior to halftime.
Eli, Josh Rodgers had Magic Benton wide open for the post. But you see, you got to credit the Peoria defensive line. They got back in his face, pushed Jarvis Jolly back there. He couldn't see it developing.
Yep. Bumped into his own man. And Titcus Pettigrew, who last year was on the San Diego Chargers practice squad, comes up with the football. And how many of you know what Titcus means? He spells his first name T-I-T-C-U-S. It's pronounced Titcus. How many of you remember your schoolwork and remember what that name means? We'll tell you in a second. Here's Sarah. Matt Pike, the quarterback, throws, completes Flags down. Cornell Craig walks it in for the touchdown. 26 yards. Matt Pike to Cornell Craig. But let's see what the flags are about. Could be a hold on the defense. Looked like Quincy Sorrell might be guilty of the defensive hold.
Defense number 5, penalties declined, touchdown.
They'll call it on Terrell Sutton, though it looked like Quincy Sorrell. Second touchdown catch.
You notice there how Cornell Craig used the wall with his hand to stay in bounds. As long as his feet don't touch the line, Craig can use the wall to push off and keep himself in bounds.
Peoria will take a timeout here. Matt Pike, 26 yards to Cornell Craig. Their second hookup of the evening. They combined for a 19-yard touchdown pass earlier. As Peoria now does talk about exactly what to do. Coach Bruce Cowdrey discussing their options here. Walt Church is out to hold for the kicker, Craig Baker. All right, how many of you came up with the fact that Titcus is Greek for warrior?
I knew it.
Yeah. Yep.
Only because you told me before you asked the question.
Titcus is Greek for warrior. He's played like a warrior here tonight in Peoria. 22-13 the score. Peoria in black leading the Florida Firecats. 20 seconds remaining until halftime. Walt Church, the holder. Kick on the way, and it is good. So with 20 seconds remaining until halftime, Peoria pads their lead to 23-13 over Florida. It'll be one play, 26 yards, 8 seconds on that scoring drive. You know, we talked earlier about players who have graduated or moved from AF2 to the Arena Football League. Don't know if you watched last week's San Jose blowout of the Arizona Rattlers in Arena Bowl 16. Former AF2 player Matt Kinsinger from the Augusta Stallions was on the San Jose SaberCats roster that won last weekend at the Compact Center in San Jose.
You know, it's so amazing. You talk about talent and rating talent. Matt Kinsinger was with the Houston Thunderbirds last year and never played. They had him on the practice roster. They didn't feel that he could break in. Gets picked up after Houston folded in the expansion draft. San Jose takes a shot at him. All of a sudden, he's one of their top 2 fullbacks, and he's leading them to a championship. It's just how fragile the difference is in people's minds on talent.
Mike Holt, the coach of the Augusta Stallions, after playing 14 years in the Arena Football League and some time also in the NFL. Cornell Craig, already 2 touchdown receptions tonight. He has scored at least 1 touchdown in every game this season, except the opener against Wichita. He has now had 7 games where he has scored 2 or more touchdowns, and the streak is now 18 games in succession. As we take a look at Magic Benton, the deep man for the Florida Firecats, set to handle the kickoff from Craig Baker.
Well, it would be interesting here. If Florida can somehow get the ball into the end zone within 20 seconds, they're going to have the ball coming out in the second half, so they could be a huge swing in momentum.
Here's Benton to the 10-yard line before the Warrior. Titcus Pettigrew puts him down. As again, we have a little pushing and shoving off the screen there, but Quincy Sorrell and Lincoln Dupree, you see the coaches calming everybody down just a bit. Tony Johnson there, the coach, talking to Dupree.
I have a feeling this one's going to get out of hand at some point, and somebody's going to be doing some swinging, because there's a lot of pre-fight antics going on right now.
There's Tony Johnson, the coach, defensive coordinator there, former University of Illinois standout, works here locally for Caterpillar. Cat, of course, a big employer in the Peoria area, headquartered here. Rogers throws, flags are down, catch is made. Anthony Dixon with running room. He is shoved out of bounds at the 2, but it is all coming back on a hold by Anthony McKenzie. A 38-yard pickup negated. Mackenzie Hold, the second-year player out of South Florida. He has a bachelor's degree in criminology, and sometimes those criminologists know you get caught.
Holding, number 67 of the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
Robert Meyer, number 35, and Black is blitzing. Watch him, and you'll see Mackenzie right there just hooks him.
Well, you know, actually what happens, he hooks him, but what they were doing was illegal too. They grabbed Mackenzie with the nose guard and held him up so that the linebacker could come in free. All you see is Mackenzie trying to reach over and grab him and stop him, but they missed the real call on that.
But as you well know, it is legal till they catch you.
Exactly.
6 seconds to go till halftime. Rogers airs it out. Catch is made. Out of bounds. Benton with 1 second. Now the clock's hit 0. And there's a flag on the play. Let's see, because the half, as we know, cannot end on a defensive penalty. Let's wait and see what the flags are all about. There is no time remaining on the scoreboard.
Well, there's no doubt that that we might be in Peoria, because there was 2 seconds when he went out of bounds, and they weren't in any hurry to stop that clock.
You're not alleging home cooking, are you?
Oh, no.
We're putting 1 second back on the clock. 1 second back on the clock.
The officials saw it. Tony Canella, the referee.
Offsides on the offense. It's half the distance to the goal. We're going to replay the down.
Right now, Florida's killing themselves, Eli.
Of course, having been stopped already by Peoria in goal line defense for the Pirates earlier, the officials were alert to the fact, as Mike was, and as we mentioned, that there was time remaining on the clock when Magic Benton stepped out of bounds. And there is a second remaining, so Florida now will use their final timeout to diagram their Hail Mary play right here. Of course, remember Josh Rogers does have a cannon for an arm. The football will be playable off the net. Should he throw it the length of the field, it is live off the net should that come into play.
I think Josh Rogers has the arm to throw it down the field, but you've got to wait for the receivers to get down there to play it off the net. And right now, Peoria is getting some pressure on Josh Rogers, and the line from Florida is not holding them out.
And snapping as they will be from their own 2-yard line, there's very little work room for Josh Rogers.
And the last thing you want to do right here is go to half with a safety.
Coming up at halftime, Tina Servasio will be taking a look at the award winners from the Arena Football II season, AF2 season. Also, legendary Drew Pearson, 11 years at the Cowboys, 3-time All-Pro on the NFL's All-Decade team in the 70s. Drew Pearson joining us at halftime as well. Rogers off the hands of Anthony Dixon as the half ends. So we have come to halftime here at the Peoria Civic Center. That is the lowest combined scoring first half in Arena Cup history. Only 36 points have been scored in the first half of play. But of course, the big play thus far in the first half was Lincoln Dupree, who electrified the crowd with this run back.
Well, you can see the downfield blocking right there by Peoria. They're just doing a great job of everybody hustling. You've got linemen running down the field leading Lincoln Dupree. If you can do that, you're going to be successful.
Florida, when they trail at the half, are 1-5 in the regular season. They've never trailed at the half in the playoffs. Peoria 9-3 when leading at halftime during the regular season, 1-0 in the playoffs. Downstairs to Tina.
Eli, thank you. Coach Cowdrey, your defense had 3 crucial stops at the goal line at the end of the first, beginning of the second. How did that set the momentum for your Pirates?
Well, they've done it all year. They've been the catalyst that's given us a chance to do some things offensively when we start slowly. They've played well all year, and they continue to do so the first half.
And Lincoln Dupree is outstanding on both offense and defense. Are you calling his number, or is he making these plays on his own?
Well, since he's playing primarily on defense, he's doing it on his own, and he made a great kick return, but had good blocking also.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Coach Bruce Cowdrey of the Peoria Pirates, whose team currently leads 23-13 as we are at halftime here of Arena Cup 2002. When we come back, Tina will take you throughout halftime. Mike and I will be back with the second half of action. Stick around. Peoria by 10 at intermission.
The AF2 Coach of the Year is Ron Selesky of Albany. He led the expansion conquest to a 13-3 record and the Northeast Division Championship. His defense allowed just 35 points a game, but his offense got the job done too. Albany offensive specialist Corey Hill set an all-time pro football record with 161 receptions. Lincoln Dupree may be the biggest reason why Peoria is in this game tonight. The league's Rookie of the Year just makes plays on offense, defense, and special teams. He tied an AF2 record with 8 kickoff return touchdowns and ranked second in the league with 13 interceptions, including a record 4-1 game. Dupree played just 6 games on offense, but was a playmaker, totaling 244 yards and 5 touchdowns. How's 7 touchdowns in one game sound? Tulsa fans like the sound of that just fine. Offensive Player of the Year Mitch Alner made the most of his working vacation in Hawaii, scoring 42 of his league best 266 points. Overall, he burned defensive backs for 1,563 yards and 35 touchdowns receiving, an average 170 all-purpose yards per game. His offensive fireworks helped the Talons win the Midwest Division. ADT is all about protection, and Tennessee Valley's Kelly Snell protected his end zone like no other player this season. Snell nabbed an AF2 record 15 interceptions, including picks in 6 straight games, something no other player had done before. He had an interception in 10 of the Vipers' 16 games as Tennessee Valley went 13-3 and won the Southern Division in the National Conference. Ironman football is what AF2 is all about, and no one in the league has the all-around game that Richmond's Kevin Harvey does. Harvey is the first player in AF2 history to win back-to-back Ironman awards. He led the speed in virtually every category, ranking first on the team in receptions, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and solo tackles. He was the team's second best receiver, scoring almost 200 points and 1,600 all-purpose yards. The league's Lineman of the Year honor went to E.J. Burt in a runaway, and runaway is what quarterbacks all over AF2 wanted to do when Burt was on the other side of the ball. The Cape Fear Crusader amassed an amazing 27.5 sacks, setting an all-time pro football record. He tied the league's single-game mark for sacks with 4.5 against Albany and forced 9 fumbles this year.
And welcome back to the ArenaCup Championships in Peoria, Illinois. The Peoria Pirates lead the Florida Firecats with a score of 23-13 at the half. Hello again, everybody. I'm Tina Servastio. And last night, the AF2 held their annual awards banquet, honoring the league's best of the best. It was Mohican's Jeff Porgel who was awarded as the Built Ford Tough Man of the Year. Now, he collected 7.5 sacks during the season, but Ford also honors their players for their merit off the field. Jeff, in the community, is a teacher at a local charter school in his hometown of Springfield, Massachusetts, and then in his free time, he spends time with children at the local Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center. Oh, and by the way, Jeff also takes home a brand new Ford truck besides the trophy that he got last night. But now let's take a look at the league's other award winners. And we'll take a look at those award winners in a little while. It's everything from Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Ironman of the Year, all indicative to the game of arena football. We have a lot going on at this halftime at this ArenaCup Championship. Again, those Peoria Pirates, the hometown team, are leading the Florida Firecats by 10 points at the score of 23-13. And we're getting ready to show you a very special feature on all of the award winners of the AF2 coming to you live here in Peoria. The ArenaCup Championships. We are live in Peoria, Illinois, with the Pirates leading the Firecats 23-13. Joining me is a familiar face to any football fan. After an 11-year NFL career with the Dallas Cowboys, Drew Pearson also made it to 3 Pro Bowls and is also a Super Bowl champion. But now as the owner and founder of Drew Pearson Marketing, you have a partnership with the AF2. Explain that.
Yeah, we're a licensee for AF2, and we've really enjoyed the relationship, and they're a new league. Even though we've been around, we feel like we can grow with this league and help them with their merchandising efforts.
And you are providing them with the sideline headgear. Why did you decide to join the AF2?
Because number one, I like the game. You know, I was involved with it myself in '91 as a head coach of the Dallas Texans, which they were called back then. And then my ex-teammate, my former quarterback, Danny White, is involved with the Arizona Rattlers in the AFL. So I've been a fan of the game for quite some time, and this is a great way for our company to stay involved with professional football.
Why was it just 1 year of the Dallas Texans when you were a coach in arena football?
Well, first of all, my record was 4-6, but I don't think that had anything to do with it. But they changed ownership, and they wanted to interview a lot of candidates, and that's when I said, hey, let me back out. But I was a little disappointed because I really enjoyed that first year involved with the league, and I really got a feel for it, and I really wanted to test that knowledge in the second year, but it never happened.
Now that you've been around with us all weekend here at the Arena Cup, how do you see the AF2 as a developmental league in order to help the Arena Football League?
I think without a doubt it's very much needed. Number one, there's a lot of players. There's enough players to support a league like this in markets like Peoria and Florida as well. So there's enough players out there, and what the AF2 does is gives those players an opportunity to continue playing the game, and in hopes of going to the AFL, and then from there possibly to the NFL.
Well, Drew Pearson, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for being a part of the AF2.
Thank you.
And you don't have to be a Cowboys fan to enjoy the career that this gentleman had. That wraps it up for this halftime. We will be right back with more of the Arena Cup Championships from Peoria, Illinois. Ready for the second half of the Arena Cup Championships here in Peoria, Illinois. I am joined by head coach of the Florida Firecats, John Forcade. Coach, your team is down now by 10 points, but tell us about the quarterback situation with Brian Sparacino.
Well, Brian's got a separated AC, and he's done for the game, and so we got to go with Josh Rogers, and we believe Josh can do the job. You know, this is arena football. It's only 10 points, and we've shut some teams out in the third quarter before, so we get the ball and see what happens in the second half.
How much do you have to adjust your offense, you and your offensive coordinator, Ben Bennett, with Rogers in there?
We're not going to say the same thing. Josh knows everything. We're going to go and see what happens, and just got to execute, play pitch and catch, and let the young man know that we're behind him, and he doesn't have to win the game for us. Just go out there and play your guy, your best football, and he'll be fine. He'll do well in the second half. And will your Firecats adjust to this because you've overcome so much adversity this year already? Well, last time I looked, it's a 60-minute football game. If they want to win the first half in 30 minutes, they want it. All we got to do is win the second half, and then we've got a shot to get back in this ball game, but we have to do it in the first series. All right, Coach, well, it starts right now. Good luck. Thank you. All right, we will be back with more of the third quarter right here from Peoria, Illinois. You are watching Arena Cup 2002.
Getting set to begin the second half. Let's run down the first half statistics for you. Florida 114 total yards to 100 for Peoria. Florida with 79 passing yards to Peoria's 97. In penalties, Florida was penalized 3 times for a loss of 13. Peoria for 5 penalties, a loss of 25 yards. Turnovers, Florida with 1, Peoria with none, and 7 points off turnover for Peoria. In the possession to touchdown ratio, Florida 5 possessions. They've scored twice on touchdowns. Peoria 4 possessions and 2 touchdowns.
Well, right now, the emotion, the crowd energy, everything's in favor of Peoria right now. What Florida can't afford to do is come out in the second half and not get a touchdown in this drive, because then if Peoria comes down with the crowd in this thing, it could be a long night for them.
Getting set to kick it off is Craig Baker after Ken Bowie finishes a couple of autographs for the fans here at the Peoria Civic Center. That's one thing about this game, the accessibility of the fan to the player. You can't beat it. And the second half is underway. 30 minutes to settle Arena Cup 2002. Here's Magic Benton. Little sleight of hand right there for the Magic Man out to about the 23-yard line, and that's where Florida will be going to work. 1st and 10. Brandon Campbell on special teams making the stop for the Peoria Pirates. Florida statistically is a third quarter ball club. In the regular season they scored 127 points, giving up only 74. But Florida needs to make hay in this quarter because Peoria, remarkably, in the 4th quarter of their 3 playoff games, they have given up not a single point this postseason. That is unheard of. Josh Rogers, the quarterback. Denton, Dixon, Sutton, the wide receivers. Going on the screen to Sutton on the right flat. He'll get it outside the 16 down to the 15-yard line. They'll spot it officially at the 16.
Nice call by Ben Bennett here. What they run is a wide receiver, a quick screen to the wide receiver. Dixon comes up, blocks on Dupree. Corner's playing way off of Sutton. He just catches the ball and gets the first down.
Limping off the field is Rufus White. As you see Jolly coming back, Jarvis Jolly checks in. Rufus White out of Northeast Oklahoma, who has a couple of sacks. Can't get any further in his second year with the Florida Firecats. He was with Tulsa, the Talons, in AF2 in year 1 of the league. And the Florida Firecats, who have already lost starting quarterback Brian Sparacino, now in risk of losing Rufus White, who has also been used as the tight end a good bit this year. He has caught 3 passes over the course of the season.
Well, now what they're going to probably have to ask Jolly to do is play the rest of this quarter. You know how sticky the substitution rules are in this league.
Right.
With White coming out now, he can come back in the game, but once Jolly comes out, he would be dead.
He's dead for the quarter. Indeed so. The tight end is Eric Boland. He raises his hand as he comes to the line of scrimmage. Josh Rogers, the quarterback. Anthony Dixon is the motion man. Looking for Dixon. He has it knocked away by Dupree. Dixon comes up asking for a hold. There is none, and it'll be second down.
That's the inexperience of Josh Rogers right there, Eli. Anytime the closer you get down to the field, that's when it becomes a touch game where he's got to get the ball up in the air and let the receiver go to it. He's trying to use his arm strength and stick it in there. He needs to put it up and let Dixon run to the ball.
So now it is a second down and 10 from the 16 of Peoria, just underway here in the third quarter. You see the score. Fumble snap. Rogers recovers it, but he will lose 5 yards back to the 20. Robert Meyer comes in. That will go as a sack. It'll be the first sack of the evening for Peoria, the 3rd of the year for Robert Meyer, the rookie out of Milliken.
Well, I believe this is the second fumbled snap already that Josh Rogers had. Again, that just goes back to reps. I'm sure he doesn't get many reps in practice. He doesn't see the center a whole lot. These things are going to happen, but you have to overcome them. Here's the opportunity for him to get the playing time he wants, step up and take advantage of it.
That is the first sack in 24 quarters that the Florida Firecats have allowed. Lots of motion again. This time, Derek Coakley jumped as the motion man again came to the line of scrimmage and froze right there. Coakley out of Wayne State of Nebraska. The man who jumped and was, as the official says, also unabated to the quarterback as a result. One of the more remarkable numbers is that this team, Florida, is 8-3 on the road, only 4-4 at home. They like playing on the road, no distractions and all the rest.
And they've played every playoff game on the road, and they've done a tremendous job. I mean, beating teams by big margins in the other venue.
Rogers taken down, unloads, out. It should have been caught. It should have been caught by Anthony Dixon for a first down. He was wide open. Derek Coakley was the man who came in on the quarterback and had him tied up. Rogers doing a great job to unload it. And Anthony Dixon should have had that one for a first down at the 5. But instead, they're going to call upon Brandon Kornblue. They weren't quite sure about him earlier in the year, but he has come on, the third-year man out of Michigan has, to attempt a 29-yard field goal. And they have changed to another holder. Normally it's the quarterback Sparacino. We saw earlier it was the backup quarterback Rogers. Now it is Anthony Dixon who will hold. Kick on the way, and that combination works for 29 yards. So a 29-yard field goal for Brandon Kornblue. as right now it's a lead of 23-16 for Peoria. And we check in with Tina, joined by Jay Marcus, Executive Director of AF2. Tina?
AF2 Executive Director Jay Marcus joins me now. Mr. Marcus, the AF2 has become so successful in just 3 seasons. Why do you think it caught on so quick?
Well, this is a fantastic game. I mean, look at the crowd, look at the intense playing and the close field, and it caught on wonderful here. And there's 8,000 people here, so it's wonderful.
And what are the plans for future expansion, and how will you guys maintain that hometown football feel?
Well, we're a developmental league, and we have all the players that are hometown inside the market, inside the area, and so they all come and play for the team. So all the fans want to see their hometown players play.
And it's very obvious here in Peoria, that's for sure. Back to you, Eli.
All right, Tina, thank you very much. As Lincoln Dupree comes into your living room, high-fives the fans as they get set to go. Dupree has had a couple of returns already tonight. 1 touchdown, 79 yards of total return numbers. He's had a 55-yard return for the touchdown earlier.
We talked about defensive stops earlier, and even though Florida got 3 points right there, Peoria is happy. They consider that a stop. As long as you don't give them 6 points, your defense has done a great job.
Brandon Kornblue, who played last year with the Macon Knights and with Florida of AF2, was an academic All-Big Ten, the place kicker, when he was at Michigan. He currently goes to Florida Atlantic University for a graduate degree in business. He says, kicking may not be my way of life for the future. He said, I might just own the football team. You never know. What do you do now? Do you kick short or to avoid Lincoln Dupree? Do you kick it out of bounds? Earlier this year, Lincoln Dupree was much of the offense for Peoria. Teams started to kick out of bounds to avoid him.
Well, you do see that a lot, but that's right there. See, there's what I was going to talk about, the bounce off the net. You never know what's going to happen.
Here's Cornell Craig. Craig taken down from behind. Good open field tackle by Anthony Dixon, who's all over the field. That's what you do want to do. Get it off the stanchion, off the metal support of that net. As you see, Tempers, again, just a good bit short out there on the field. A low-scoring affair. This is very much unlike the Arena Football League or AF2. And with so much on the line, 1 game for the championship, everybody's getting just a tick extra fired up. Jason Henney right there, who was with the Barracudas last year in Pensacola, their Ironman of the year when Coach Cowdrey coached there. He's getting the team charged up.
You know, this game is built around offense, but every year, it just when it comes down to the finals, Eli, who are the 2 teams? The teams with good defense that are playing good defense.
Here's Peoria from their own 7-yard line. Matt Pike. That one looking to set the open man. Ken Bowie would have been his 12th reception of the year, but the screen could not be held on to. Right now, Pike just 8 of 15. 109 yards, couple of touchdowns.
Run a little slip screen, slide protect. In comes up, Bowie's wide open. But Dixon, if you saw on the replay, did a great job with staying with him. His responsibility is the tight end fullback. If they come out, Dixon as a Jill linebacker goes and gets him. Even if Bowie catches that ball, Dixon's right there to make a play.
So the 2nd and 10 with 9:53 remaining in the 3rd. Pirates in black up 23-16. Good line play. Intercepted by Anthony Dixon. He's going to walk it back in. Touchdown. Touchdown, 13 yards. It'll be the 3rd interception of the year for Anthony Dixon, and a huge momentum swing here in Peoria.
You know, you talk about Anthony Dixon, and he's not a flashy type player. He's just a solid arena football player, both sides of the ball. Right there you see, playing that Jill linebacker, you think because he can't rush, because he can't go in pass protection, that it's just a wasted position. But if you learn to play that position well and take away the angles of the quarterback, you can make it hard. And he does a great job, picks the ball off and goes in.
The first interception for a return in the history of the Arena Cup Championship game. The third pick of the year thrown by Matt Pike. The extra point is up and good. And folks, tighten up those seatbelts. We're tied at 23, 8:56 remaining in the third, as we are with you live at the Peoria Civic Center. Arena Cup 2002 underway. Welcome back, everybody. 8:56 remaining, third quarter, tied at 23. Arena Cup 2002 here at the Peoria Civic Center in Peoria, Illinois. Eli Gold, Mike Hold, Tina Servasio. Glad you're able to join us here tonight. As usual, our spotter, Butch Owens, our statistician, Brian Roberts. Lincoln Dupree is deep. Out of the slack net and the touchback. So Anthony Dixon has swung this game around with an interception return for a touchdown. His head coach, John Forcade, knows what Dixon is all about.
We have not played, should I say, a game this season where AD has made a mistake. And that's a compliment to him because he's always around the ball. I've seen the kid would play hurt. He's just, if I had 21 ADs, we'd win.
Would, so he was not lying when he talked about what Dixon, an assistant coach at Estero High School, can do. Now Matt Pike under pressure, going down in the end zone. That is a safety. That is a safety. Darrell Lane and Fred Harley came charging through. It'll be the third sack of the ball game and the first safety for the Florida Firecats.
What a momentum swing here, Eli. See, they try to slide protect, and they slide the wrong way. Darrell Lane comes in free, unabated to the quarterback.
So Darrell Lane, the former Tampa Bay Storm, who's really picked up the slack once Johnny Frost was injured. And all of a sudden, Coach Cowdrey's bunch going from a halftime lead of 23-13 to a 25-12 deficit to Florida. Or excuse me, 25-23 deficit, I should say, to Florida. How quickly one's fortunes can change. The very first safety in the history of the Arena Cup Championship game.
Well, the strength of Florida's team has been their defense all year, Eli, and right now they're showing why they're in the championship game.
Here it is again.
You see the protection, they slide protect, but the guard or tight end, I'm not sure which one that was, slides down, doesn't pick anybody up. Lane comes all the way in for the sack.
And as well, you know the rules of football. You not only make the safety and get 2 points, you also get the football back. So the momentum has totally shifted in favor of a road team, Florida, that has played their 6th road game in a row, and 8 out of the last 10 have been away from their home in South Florida. Jared Ware and Magic Benton are the deep men. Off the net. Who's got it? It is Benton. The Magic Man. Put down in a nice open field tackle by Ray Shea Hill. Jason Short helped contain the play. And Ray Shea Hill, the second-year veteran of Northern Illinois, there to make the stop.
That's something you love to see as a coach. 2 big guys, Rashae Hill, one of your linemen, and Jason Short, a fullback, leading the charge down on a kickoff and making the play almost inside the 5-yard line. When you're watching film, you're always going, okay, little guys, why are you not leading the charge down there? You run 4-2, then why is the lineman getting down in front of you?
Florida lineman Rufus White aggravating an ankle injury earlier. He is still out as the completion to Benton is good. Gets forward progress, lost the football, picked up by Peoria. Here's Larry Henderson, takes it back inside the 10 to the 9. So how quickly momentum goes from one side of the arena to the other. Larry Henderson picks it up. Watch it again.
They just run a simple hitch. Magic Benson breaks out, he's ready to go down the field, and then drops the ball. Larry Henderson picks it up. Great play, good heads-up play by Larry Henderson.
So the guy who is just a guy with good speed out of Nebraska, claimed after he was cut loose by the Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League, there to make the play. And now let's see whether Peoria can grab the lead back. Walt Church in at quarterback now. Walt Church is the quarterback. He'll throw the out pattern. Catch is made to the 3 by Cornell Craig. So Walt Church, who has played 13 games this year, including action in the playoffs, back under center for Peoria.
Eli Walter Church is the heart and soul, according to Bruce Cowdrey, of this football team. He's led him to where he's at. He said it was the hardest decision not to play Walter because he's been so much a part of this team all year.
He is a pure pocket quarterback. He is not very good, as he told me, in the 3-step drop, but he will hold the ball and take a hit. And in this league, that's almost as important as anything.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. The quarterback has to be physical. If he's not going to stay in there and take the shots, then he ain't going to be in there long.
Jason Short, the tailback, gets the pitch here. Short to the goal line. Touchdown. 3 yards on the run for the fullback, Jason Short, behind the block of the Bear. Antonio Brown clearing it out on the left side. Touchdown, Peoria.
Well, the nice thing about this drive right here is after the safety, the Peoria team didn't go in the dumps. They just given up a huge momentum swing. They keep fighting. They make their turnover, go down, capitalize on it, and get the ball in the end zone.
So timeout being taken by Peoria. Their first. Take a look at it again. Short on the pitch. Watch the Bear. Big number 89 just clears him out over there.
Just a simple toss, but Antonio Brown hooks the end, does his job, and allows for Jason Short to get out to the side and get into the end zone.
And folks, we had mentioned him earlier. It's bearing a repeat right here. The Bear, Anthony Brown. What a spectacular story. He played in the NFL Europe with Barcelona. He was in the World Bowl, that man number 89, with Berlin. In 2000, he was on the practice squad with the St. Louis Rams, but he comes from the East St. Louis ghetto called The Hole. That man has been homeless 2 or 3 times in his young life. He has persevered. He has clawed his way to respectability. Went to the University of Illinois, leaves there after his days were done, and becomes a very, very major part of this football team. He also had Division I basketball scholarship offers, but went the route of football. The Bear, quite a story. Church to throw it away for 2. Nope, knocked down by Darrell Lane. So the man who makes the play for the safety at the other end of the field with the knockdown right there, and the 2-point conversion is no good. So that'll be a 2-play drive. 9 yards in 1 minute and 38 seconds. Peoria on top now, 29-25 as we check in with Tina.
If you're a football fan that wants offense, you've come to the right place in the AF2. And standing next to me is the AF2 Offensive Player of the Year, Mitch Allner of the Tulsa Talon. Now, last night, you were presented your award by Drew Pearson. What was it like for you to have a great offensive NFL player give you your award?
Well, that's amazing to me because I've watched him and followed him, when I was a lot younger, and it's just a great honor for me to be presented by him and to be able to get to meet him and to know a little bit about him now.
You scored a league-high 266 points this year, and a guy of your stature might not necessarily stand out, or people would expect that in the game of football. How has the AF2 been the league of opportunity for you?
For me and a lot of other people in the league, it's been a great thing, and this year more so than ever, I got a great opportunity to come into Tulsa and play, and I got moved into the offensive specialist spot about a couple games in the season, and when you get in a good team with a good coaching system like we had, things work out, and it was a fun year and a very productive year for me and my teammates.
You've had a little stint in the AFL. You hope to get back there someday?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully next year.
All right, good luck to you, Mitch. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Tina.
Back to you, Eli.
All right, Tina, thank you. And Great offensive talent right there, and that young man for the Tulsa Talons. Magic Benton is deep, along with Terrell Sutton. Craig Baker, the end-over-end kick. The Magic Man 7 yards deep. Benton to the 14. Now remember, the magic number seems to be 40 for the Florida Firecats. They have scored 40 or more points in 10 of their last 12. And when they get to that number, they are virtually unbeatable. They are 11-1. Right now, though, they're trailing 29-25 as the Peoria defense continues to be stifling, a defense that this year averages giving up just 37 points per ball game. The quarterback, Josh Rogers, in for the injured Brian Sparacino. Rogers throws. Catch is made by Kevin Huntley to the 20-yard line, the former Wisconsin Badger, who is the number 5 receiver on this football team this year, makes the grab as we are 5:55 remaining in the third quarter.
Well, Josh Rogers does a great job of just getting back, taking that 5th step, not holding on to the ball and getting rid of it, because in this league, it happens so quick and those DBs break so fast. Lincoln Dupree was on Huntley just like that, but because Josh Rogers got back, took the 5 steps and got rid of the ball, he was successful.
Rogers in general now not getting much time. Benton in motion. There's the pitch. Darrell Lane, and the flags are down. Everybody and his brother was moving. They're going to hand out a bumper sticker. Wave if you weren't moving. There weren't many folks who weren't before the snap. They call it on Darrell Lane, but he had company as well.
Well, it's hard to see what Darrell Lane did, but obviously he was out there quite a bit further than Josh Rogers expected him. But Josh Rogers makes a cardinal sin there by tossing the ball like he did. If he doesn't think he can get there, hold on to it. Don't lay it down on the carpet. That's the worst thing he can do.
This crowd of 7,552 enjoying ArenaCup 2002. Play clock at 5, 4. They're going to have to move it. 2. They get the snap away. Rogers behind the intended receiver, Magic Benton. He had Benton between double coverage, but the throw was behind him.
Quite a bit behind him, too. Benton comes around. They're expecting him to run a post because he's in motion, and he cuts it out on a dig route. We're going to see that here on the replay. And Josh Rogers has a shot to get it to him on the sidelines, but he just throws it behind him, and there's no possible way to catch the ball.
He split Lincoln Dupree and Frank West, but the pass just not on the money. Florida 1 of 3 in third down conversions. Here's a 3rd and 9. On the year, Florida 35% in third down conversions. Again, 1 of 3 today. Rogers with time, throws a one-hopper to Benton, incomplete. He had plenty of time, just could not find the open receiver.
Well, he had a lot of time, but the problem is Lincoln Dupree was on Magic Benton like glue, and Josh had to wait for him to clear the linebackers and get open.
Brandon Cornblue in now to kick. The numbers on Josh Rogers, the quarterback, 6 of 13, 44 yards. Cornblue has made a 29-yarder. This will be a 50-yard attempt. His long was 43 yards. The man who was, I guess you'd call him Rudy. He was Michigan's version of Rudy. 5th-year senior under Lloyd Carr, got into a ball game, but misses here. It's a live football, but now it goes out of bounds, and it'll be Peoria football. But when we come back, we've got ourselves a dandy going. Peoria 29, Florida 25 here in Peoria. We are back. You've missed Brian Archibald's rushing play on a 1st and 10 for the Peoria Pirates. He gets the football to the 5-yard line. Brian Archibald, the rookie out of Southern Illinois University.
Eli, I'm looking for Bruce Cowdrey to start kicking in the speed with his receivers and using them down the field and trying to get the ball down the field with these speedy guys.
Brandon Campbell is the motion man. Walt Church throws. The strike catch is made by Charles Sheffield. It's out to the 14-yard line. And again, flags are flying. Some extracurricular activities there. Been a very chippy football game. Could well be an intentional foul on Quincy Sorrell. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the officials call. It's clearly a personal foul, and whether they will say it was an aggravated variety, we'll wait to hear. No doubt it's a personal foul.
You know, that's a great call right there. Quincy Sorrell goes over there and makes a hit he doesn't need to make. If I'm John Fourcade or one
After
of
the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 9 in the defense, 10-yard penalty results, first down.
Or one of the Florida coaches, I'm bringing him out of the ballgame. I'm doing something to set him straight because this kills you. This kills you in a critical game like this.
Number 9 in white, you saw him fly in well after the play was done. So that penalty brings it out near midfield, the 24-yard line. Again, Walt Church now in at quarterback, as he had been earlier in the year. Out of Eastern Michigan University, flags are down. Church throws towards Pettigrew, incomplete. Titcus had tight coverage on him by Terrell Sutton, but again, there are flags down. Looked like Rufus White or Anthony McKenzie, one of them jumped for Florida. We'll wait and hear what the officials say.
Illegal formation, shading, number 52 of the defense, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Rufus White, and coach, explain what shading is.
Well, shading in arena football, you have to line up head up over the nose guard, or over the center if you're the nose guard. If he's off just a little bit, they're going to call shading, and a lot of times they'll call it because he'll move with the snap count. All right, he's not actually lined up, but when he steps over, he is now shading, and they'll call it right away.
2 minutes, 6 seconds remaining in the third. Peoria in black with a 29-25 lead over the Florida Firecats in white. ArenaCup championship game. ArenaCup 2002 being played here at Carver Arena inside the Peoria Civic Center. Church, pressure by Buffett, throws, catch is made, touchdown. 21 yards to Brandon Campbell for the touchdown. Terrell Sutton was there covering, could not slow down that man Campbell, the rookie out of Eastern Michigan.
Well, you know, Eli, I'm always going to go back to bat for the quarterback, and right there, Walter Church was amazing. He sat back, knew he was going to take that big hit you were talking about earlier, and still delivers the ball right to where it needs to be, takes the big hit, then tries to help Dedrick Maffett up off the ground after Dedrick Maffett just drilled him, and Dedrick wouldn't have anything to do with it.
Extra point, Craig Baker. Brandon Campbell using his speed as the kick is up and good. Campbell, you might remember the name because when he was at Eastern Michigan, he was one of the favorite targets of Charlie Batch, the quarterback who's gone on to NFL fame. So a 21-yard pickup. Touchdown, Peoria.
From NBC, the network that makes you think.
Nobody's reasonable when they're in love. That's the whole point of it.
The network that makes you laugh.
Now we're playing some frickin' hardball.
And the network that makes you feel.
Think I should be afraid of this guy? This guy should be afraid of me.
Soon comes the sport that makes you scream. Arena football on NBC. Coming soon.
On Vision Outdoors.
Fish, fish, fish.
Watch them reel in the finest freshwater fish on the Great Lakes and beyond.
Got a fish on over here. Let's get it. Yeah, triple. Now that's fishing, boys.
Your guide, Steve Gruber, takes you on the ride of your life in search of the big one.
It doesn't get much better than this, folks. It's what Outdoor America is all about. Having fun and catching big fish.
Outdoor America, this week on the Vision Channel.
There's a new fitness phenomenon that's sweeping the nation.
I felt stronger, more relaxed, and more energized.
It's exhilarating and relaxing at the same time.
Introducing Windsor Pilates, the revolutionary video-based workout system designed by 51-year-old Pilates guru Mari Windsor that uses simple, controlled movements to trim and tone your entire body without the need for expensive fitness equipment.
Mari really helped me achieve the body that I wanted.
Windsor Pilates is amazing.
And it actually
basics. You'll start with Mari's Basics video, a step-by-step guide to Mari's most effective body sculpting moves. Next, with Mari's easy-to-follow 20-minute workout video, you'll see immediate results. Call now and we'll also include Mari's accelerated body sculpting program. All this for just 2 payments of only $19.95.
Windsor Pilates works. It worked for me, and I know it'll work for you.
Have your credit card ready and call the number on your screen. Order risk-free with our money-back guarantee. But you must call now to receive the free bonus items and qualify for this low price. So call the toll-free number now.
Well, you missed the kickoff, which was not returned out of the end zone by Florida on great coverage by Peoria. Frank West was down there on special teams to make the play. We do apologize for missing all of these plays coming out of the commercial breaks. We'll do our best to recreate what's happened while you were away. We're inside the final minute of the third quarter with the Pirates leading the Firecats 36-25. Josh Rogers, the quarterback. In for Brian Sparacino, the pump, the go, the magic man, Benton comes back to make the catch. No, says the official. No, says the official. He could not come up with it cleanly at the 5-yard line. We'll take a look at this one again.
Great effort by Magic Benton. Josh Rogers puts the ball up. He has to come back for it. Almost makes an incredible play. Great coverage by number 1 Campbell, though. He stays right with him stride for stride.
Looked on that look as though he probably did trap the football.
Well, the side judge coming up had a clean view of it, obviously, and I thought made a good call.
So it is 2nd down and 10 now as the quarter is going to come to a close. The third quarter ends here at the Peoria Civic Center with the Pirates on top 36-25 over the Florida Firecats. We're back with the fourth quarter after this. Well, those fans know that Peoria, when leading after 3 quarters, are 10-2 in the regular season, 1-0 in the playoffs. And they also know that Peoria has not allowed a point in the fourth quarter of their playoff games. So that has to scare Florida a bit, Mike Holt, because Florida today has managed only 2 touchdowns in their 8 possessions. That's not a good number in this league.
Well, since Brian Sparacino has gone out of the ballgame, they've struggled considerably on offense. Josh Rogers hasn't been able to get it going. He's made a couple good plays, but then fumbled some snaps, and they haven't been clicking like they do with Sparacino in there. And right now, unless they're able to get something going, it looks like Peoria, with the momentum they've got, the crowd involved like this, is going to take this one home.
But there's a quarter of football yet to play. Total yards thus far, 136 to 133 for Florida. But Peoria, with 13 points off of turnovers, among the factors that has the scoreboard leading in their direction by 11. On a 2nd and 10. Rogers hit hard, forward pass incomplete. Ken Bowie, and now a late flag. A late flag comes in the end zone. A late flag in the end zone after the hit by Bowie on Rogers. They're going to say it's illegal. It's an intentional grounding, which by rule in the end zone is a safety.
I'm going to wait to make a comment until after I see this.
By rule, intentional grounding in the end zone is a safety. Let's see.
Well, you can't really see if he has a receiver over there. Ben Bennett is obviously arguing with the official. He feels there was somebody over there to throw the ball to.
I don't know if we can, well, we don't have another angle, but it was, let's take another look at it and see if we can slow it down. There was certainly one man there.
Well, Dixon curls up on the right side. Magic Benton's over here on the left side. I think it's just that he could say that he was going to him. Obviously, the coaches are unhappy. They just got a penalty thrown on them.
John Forcade, you see, being pushed back. A 5-yard penalty, a sideline warning being given to the Florida Firecats. So a safety by Peoria that negates the safety for Darrell Lane earlier in the ball game.
But right now, everything going for Florida is going sour. Everybody's losing their composure. John Forcade is hot right now. He's got to be careful not to get another penalty or get himself ejected out of the ball game.
And Florida now is going to take a timeout. John Forcade in the ear of referee Tony Cannella. There you see Ben Bennett talking as well. They're arguing that there was a player over there in the general vicinity, and the officials said no, and hence again by rule, intentional grounding in the end zone is a safety. So each team has now used one timeout here in the second half, and the Pirates are on top 38-25 in this Arena Cup championship game. Florida in the postseason beat Tallahassee 43-31. They beat Macon 44-28 and down Cape Fear 43-29. Peoria was a winner over Wichita 37-36. They exploded in the fourth quarter to beat San Diego 22-12 and then annihilated Birmingham 79-33 last weekend. That's how both teams have gotten to this ball game here at the Peoria Civic Center tonight.
Well, you hear so much about what got Florida here in the defense, and you haven't heard much about Peoria's defense. But tonight, Peoria's defense has stepped it up. They're getting to the quarterback. They're causing a lot of turnovers, and right now they're controlling the game.
Here's Lincoln Dupree. He had a touchdown run back earlier. There's a flag on the play. This one's coming back. There'll be a hold on Peoria's Brandon Campbell. Lincoln Dupree is decimated at the 11-yard line. A 44-yard run back, but it is coming back. Brandon Campbell will be guilty of a hold on the run back by Peoria back at around the 17-yard line. So while Dupree says thank you to the fans, Brandon Campbell's hold brings this all back. You talked about defensive numbers. The Pirates are number 2 in pass defense, number 5 in scoring defense. But this penalty right here, the 7th of the night, will hurt.
Holding, number 1 on the return. Half the distance to the penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
That's not how Brandon Campbell became the offensive MVP at Eastern Michigan. Watch this, looking at number 1 in black. Right there, you see the guy who was putting his hands up. It had already happened by the time our cameras got there, but and now there's another penalty marker on the play. The officials here, well between the plays, have put a penalty down.
Bench. That's your first warning. Next penalty results a 5-yard penalty.
So
first down.
Each team now has been warned with a sideline warning. Coach Cowdrey for Peoria, John Forcade for Florida. Each team has been given a sideline warning, and as you heard from the referee, the next time by that happens, there'll be a 5-yard penalty. We're in the fourth quarter. 14:25 remaining in this one. Walt Church incomplete, and the deposit of Craig into the bench. The first incomplete pass thrown by Walt Church tonight. He was 3 of 3, now 3 of 4, 35 yards and 1 touchdown. Church, who has both a junior and a senior, was a captain at Eastern Michigan University. He was an all-academic performer with in the Mid-America Conference, and left EMU as a number 4 all-time passer in the MAC. Sets up the screen, and Fred Harley deflects that one away. They were going to the fullback, trying to set it up there to Robert Meyer, and Harley got in the way, and he can do that at 6'3", 270. He's a big fella.
Walter Church he's lucky here. Fred Harley almost reads this and makes the pick.
So now a 3rd down play, 3rd and 10. Peoria is 1 of 4 in 3rd down conversions here tonight. You realize that you could add up your grade point average, my grade point average, Butch Owens' grade point average, and not equal Walter Church. Flags are down. Florida jumped. Free play. Campbell is open. Makes the grab inside the 10. He's down to the 3-yard line with a first down. Anthony McKenzie of Florida, the man who jumps. So the 38-yard pickup will count right here. Brandon Campbell on the receiving end of a 38-yarder from Walt Church.
Well, you knew sooner or later, Eli, that by all the short routes that Peoria was running. They were going to get those defensive backs to suck up from Florida and then get over the top.
Formation, number 67 in the defense shading. Penalties decline. First down.
Anthony McKenzie.
Again, there was a situation where he didn't line up in the gap, but the snap count pulled him over there and they automatically call it.
So it sets up a first and goal from the 5 for Peoria. They already lead by 13, Peoria does. And with the clock now very much in Peoria's favor, Florida needs a big-time stop here. Remember, Peoria, when leading after 3 quarters, they're 10-2 in the regular season, 1-0 in the playoffs. Robert Meyer is the fullback. Cornell Craig is in motion. The give to Meyer, nothing. Meyer, who is a high school wrestling coach, stopped by Anthony Dixon and Darrell Lane. Meyer has been around. He went to camp with the Toronto Argonauts of the Canadian Football League, went to camp with the Chicago Rush of the Arena Football League. Just couldn't quite stick. .12 remaining in the ball game. Again, Meyer still the fullback. Motion man will be Campbell. Church. Touchdown. 4 yards to Cornell Craig, his 3rd touchdown reception of the night.
There's a definite miscommunication in the defensive backfield for Florida. 2 players went with one person, leaving 2 of the DBs went with one person, leaving Craig wide open for the touchdown in the back of the end zone. This one's a simple sit down there at the back end.
Cornell Craig, who when he was at Southern Illinois led all of Division I AA in receiving back in 1999. We're seeing why tonight, and now there's a flag on the extra point as Craig Baker gets drilled by Fred Harley. The kick is good, and the penalty will be assessed on the ensuing kickoff. Fred Harley with the hit on the kicker.
We have a personal foul, number 99 of the defense, roughing the kicker. The penalty will be assessed after the kickoff.
So with 11:18 remaining in the ball game, this one's very much going the Pirates' way. Now tied an Arena Cup record for touchdown receptions in a ball game. He's got 3, the same as Bob Washington of Tennessee Valley had in 2000 against Quad Cities. As we check in with Tina.
AF2 likes to recognize their fans, and tonight's AF2 Arena Cup fan of the game is Trent "The Rock" Johnson. Trent, we're going to give you this official Arena Cup football because you're such a great supporter of the Peoria Pirates. Who's your favorite player on the Pirates? Lincoln Dupree. All right, it's a lot of people's favorite player. Congratulations, Rock.
So The Rock, a big fan of Dupree. Jared Ware coughs it up. Football is loose. Flags are down. There may have been a face mask in there or a hold. There are a number of hankies. Let's wait and see exactly what happens. Ware says he was hooked. There was a hold indicated on one player. That is the 6th fumble of the ball game, the 3rd one that has been lost if the play holds up. But again, there are hankies plenty out there. We'll wait and hear what the officials say. That kid is nice young man. The Rock.
It's great to have fans like that. That's what it's all about. It's about bringing these kids into these games and having a good time.
He's still a pebble, though. He's got to work a ways to get to be The Rock. But it's good to see him and supporting his Pirates. The officials, again, as you see, talking it over. It looked as though Jared Ware was spun around by the face mask. There was also a hold in there. Then the ball came loose. And the officials are trying to determine exactly who's where and why, with 11:03 remaining in the ball game. Let's listen in.
On the return, we have a personal foul, face mask on the kicking team. We have the carryover foul From the extra point, those penalties are going to offset. The foul caused the fumble. It's first down, Florida, right here at the spot of the football.
So the foul did cause the fumble. Watch it here, where there's the face mask. They called it on the kicking team, but it was obviously on the defense, on the return on the defending team. And he tried to pitch it back to Anthony Dixon anyway. Offsetting penalties. The foul brings about the football belonging to Florida. They need points, Florida does. Trailing by 20 with 11 minutes to go. Josh Rogers sails it high off the hands of Anthony Dixon with coverage by Lincoln Dupree.
Well, right now, Lincoln Dupree is just reading Josh Rogers' eyes. When Josh Rogers gets back and hits 5 steps, he's looking right at Anthony Dixon, and Lincoln Dupree's breaking on the ball. And right there, he's there in time to make a play and knock it out of his hands.
Never did look off either.
No.
Just stared directly at his intended receiver and never looked away. Second down and 10. 45-25 Peoria. There you see the score. 10:22 remaining in the ball game. Pass deflected. The Bear got that one. Antonio Brown. There's the Bear. Second pass he has broken up this year.
Well, you can see right there in the corner that Antonio Brown's playing what we call spy technique. Anytime you play zone coverage, which Peoria did, they had a cloud coverage. They rolled over the top there. What they're going to do is spy with the backside defensive end. So when the quarterback comes off to the underneath guy, he can knock it down.
6 consecutive incomplete passes by Josh Rogers. The 3rd and 10. Looking for Ware. Where is he? Can't find him. 7 passes in a row incomplete.
Well, Josh Rogers is really forcing the ball right now. There's an opportunity to hit Magic Benton coming across on a dig route or an in route, but he tried to force it into double coverage to Jared Ware.
Peoria having dropped into his zone that time. So 4th down now. They are 1 of 2 on 4th down conversions tonight. On the year, 10 of 22, right at 40%. You're too far down to try a long field goal. You've got to go for it. 8:49 to go in the ball game with that deficit for Florida. Rogers has time. Looking off Benton's fingertips, incomplete. Dupree was covering, and Peoria takes over again on downs. Peoria's ball as they take over on downs. Watch it again.
Rogers makes a good throw here. But Lincoln Dupree's right there on Magic Benton, and he has to put it in a small area going into that wall, and Benton's just not able to hold on.
Well, let's get into that time. Get into that time where the fat lady hasn't yet sung, but if you listen closely, you can hear her clearing her throat.
Well, 8 minutes is a lot of time left in arena football, but the way Florida's offense is sputtering, there's no way that I can see that they can get back in the ball game based on the way Peoria's playing as well.
And if you're Bruce Cowdrey, you go for the jugular right here.
Absolutely, you stick it in their heart.
Sheffield in motion. Church underneath to Craig. And Cornell Craig is to the 4-yard line.
You know, this is a passing game. We talked about it before. You don't run the ball a lot. And with 8 minutes to go, you're always going to be throwing the ball. 20 points is nothing to a coach in this league. If I'm Bruce Cowdrey, I'm going to get as many as I can and wait till the last couple minutes till I call out the dogs.
You're right. 20 points is nothing when you've had an offense that has been clicking at times. But today it's really sputtered for Florida, obviously beginning with the injury to Brian Sparacino, their starting quarterback. Church. Short, second time, touchdown, Jason Short, 4 yards. And now the fat lady has stopped clearing her throat, and her accompanist has sat down at the piano they're getting close to starting to sing.
She's definitely starting to hum. I tell you, Florida right now, they've just taken the wind out of Florida Cells because this isn't the same defensive unit we saw in the first half. Right there, Jason Short comes around on a toss. There's nobody near him for 4 yards as he walks into the end zone. But again, great blocking by Peoria.
Craig Baker to attempt the extra point out of Walt Church's hold. And he adds yet another with one more flag on the play. So Peoria has scored on their last 4 possessions. And this time it is Jarvis Jolly and Fred Harley who get in on the kicker, Craig Baker. And again, we will see the penalty assessed after the kickoff of the next possession.
Personal foul, number 99 in the defense, roughing the kicker. Penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
And with that call, we take a break. Peoria very much in control. 6 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in this one. Since Florida took the lead with their safety back at the 8:32 mark of the third quarter, Peoria has outscored them 29-0. We thought the momentum had changed with that safety, Mike. Turns out it was a wake-up call for the Pirates.
I think so, because ever since that happened, like you said, they've just been unstoppable, and Florida can't get anything going on offense.
So 29 unanswered points, as Magic Benton will not be able to play this one off the slack net. That is going to be a touchback right there, as again, flags are in. And this is just getting to be very, very chippy now. Jason Short, number 7 in black, came in to cover, and the ball rattled around, was a touchback, and still the contact. So Jason Short guilty there. We'll hear from the referee, who's gotten more voice time tonight than most.
We have a dead ball, personal foul on number 7 with unnecessary roughness, a late hit. We also have the carryover foul against Florida. They offset, first down at the 5-yard line.
Remember the carryover from the roughing the kicker of earlier. There's Jason Short, comes in with the
nice little headbutt
on Richard Jones.
Yeah, you know, this is arena football. You got to be expecting that stuff. I love it.
6:45 remaining in this championship game. Arena Cup 2002, Peoria trying to finish it off. Complete to the 15 for Josh Rogers. That's his first completion in the last 9 tosses. That's his first completion in his last 9 throws.
Josh Rogers does a tremendous job here in this situation. Look, he sits in the pocket. He's about to get drilled by Jason Short. Makes a great throw to, I think it was Terrell Sutton. Perfect time.
So first down at the 16-yard line with 6 minutes remaining in the ball game. Each team with 2 timeouts. They have each used 1 already in this half. Little confusion, you see, back and forth going Magic Benton. Some confusion on the call. Play clock is down to 6. They get it away. Flags are down. Everybody was moving off the hands of a wide open Terrell Sutton. And it's becoming that kind of a ball game now, as one of the fans gave it his all for the souvenir. It looked as though Benton might have been well ahead of the line of scrimmage, the motion man, as he was moving around. We'll take a look at the replay after we hear from the referee, but there was so much confusion, and it looked as though Magic Benton might have been well ahead of the line of scrimmage. But how about that fan who got to give the fans back? If the ball goes into the stands, fans can keep them. If the players go into the stands, fans got to give the players back, and vice versa. If a fan ends up on the field, the players.
Illegal formation. We had the tight end and the wide receiver lined up on the same side. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
There was a lot of confusion.
A lot of confusion on this one, but right here, it doesn't make any difference.
It almost looked like 32. The guy in the stands there.
He knocked the ball down.
Knocked the ball down. As it turns out, had there not been that illegality at the line of scrimmage, there would have been a grounds right there for fan interference.
Well, in fan interference, really, it's not that big of a penalty. All they're going to do is give him a redo of that down.
But in this instance here, you're looking at a 1st and 15. Benton in motion. Josh going down. Somebody's even run out of their shoe. It's going to be big number 91, Ray Shea Hill. You see him there? He's bending down to pick up his shoe. Folks, the Florida offense has just gone south before their flight has left.
It has, but let's give a lot of credit to Peoria because that defensive line right now, Peoria, is getting some kind of penetration on Josh Rogers.
The Bear got a piece of that one, Antonio Brown. Florida's offense in the second half. Listen to this. 5 possessions, a field goal, a fumble, a missed field goal, 1 safety, and then the turnover on downs. That has been Florida's offense in the second half. Virtually nothing. Second down. Looking for Benton, behind the defense, touchdown. Touchdown, 39 yards. He beats Larry Henderson. 39 yards, and that's the first touchdown, the first point that Peoria has given up in the 4th quarter in the postseason.
All Florida's doing is running 2 stacks on the wide side and sending Magic Benton on a post over the top. Larry Henderson has all the speed in the world, but Magic Benton does a good job of setting him up and then coming across his face and gaining that separation for the touchdown.
Now Florida's going to take timeout to go for 2, certainly. It'll be their second timeout of the half with 4:01 remaining in the ball game. That was a 3-play scoring drive, 45 yards in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So that scoring drive for Peoria. Their first points other than from the safety here in the second half of play. The Peoria defense has just been stifling.
Well, I've seen stranger things happen in arena football, and by no means is this a comfortable lead. And if Josh Rogers can pull this offensive unit back, they have a shot, but they're going to have their defense step up and start making some of these plays like Peoria has to get themselves back in the ballgame. But just a simple touchdown like that, to me, doesn't take the wind out of the sails of Peoria. This is part of the game. They've just got to come back and score again.
Part of the great crowd here this evening. You know, of the 34 cities in AF2, Peoria is 33rd in population. This is next to the last, next to the smallest. Only 120,000, yet they are number 4 in league-wide attendance. Folks love coming here. This building is also home to the Bradley Braves, the NCAA basketball team, and also the Peoria Rivermen, who play in the East Coast Hockey League. 2-point try with Diedrich Moffitt in the fullback slot. They fake the give. Josh Rogers gets the 2-point conversion. So the 2-point conversion is there, and a few of the Florida faithful sounding the air horns in the background. Good effort on the part of Josh Rogers right here, going for 2.
One thing John Forcade said is he is an athlete and he will make plays, and hey, you've got to give him respect right there. He just comes right in, lowers his shoulder. He doesn't try to avoid the tackle. He tries to run the guy over and he gets in the end zone. Great play.
Again, though, that magic number for Florida was 40. They're 11-1 this year when scoring 40 points or more, and they are still being held to just 33 by the Peoria Pirates tonight.
Well, obviously this next series will be the telling series of what's going to happen. 4 minutes to go in the ball game. If Peoria can run down some of this clock and keep this cushion and at least get a field goal, they're going to take this thing home. The worst thing that could happen for Peoria right now is a ball to come off the net and Florida get it for an easy touchdown.
Hey, that bunch right there, they're not big. They're not the most physical in the league, but they are some of the very best athletes going.
They've got so much speed at their skill positions right now. When they run 4.37s, 4.29s, wow.
Got to be ready here for an onside kick. You don't even see the kicker there. He's up along the near boards. Got to move our cameras way over. He's deep in the corner right there. An onside kick. It is covered by Dupree. Dupree's going to run in. Touchdown. 12 yards. His second kickoff return for a touchdown tonight. With 3.5 remaining in the ball game, trust me, folks, the fat lady is singing.
Heads up play by Lincoln Dupree right here, but you look at Florida, just everybody's kind of standing around, not really trying to make a tackle. Boy, as a coach, it just pisses you off.
Can you say that on television?
I'm sorry, I don't know. It wasn't what came to mind, let me tell you. I toned it down quite a bit.
Now the extra point by Craig Baker. That is blocked. That is blocked. That was big Dunstan Anderson, a longtime NFLer who has a Super Bowl ring with the Dallas Cowboys there. Now, folks, the largest point differential in Arena Cup history was 9 points when Quad City beat Tennessee Valley 68-59 back in 2000. Today's differential, 25 points.
No one stacks the music back to back like 3D music. Hi, I'm Keith Dudley. I'd like to invite you to join me for today's hottest music videos. Pop, Latin, contemporary Christian, hip-hop, country, and gospel. 3D music, you just never know what you're gonna get next. 3D music, music for the mind, body, and spirit.
Well, we are seeing a number of records either set or tied here tonight. Moments ago, Lincoln Dupree tying Sean King, who had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns back in 2000 for the Quad City Steamwheelers. In a win over the Tennessee Valley Vipers, a win which I must say is still being disputed by the ownership of the Vipers. J.A. Art Clarkson, who still to this day feels his team was robbed. The Quad City fans feel just the opposite. The legacy grows in Arena 2 even after just 3 years of existence. There are many stories that are still being talked about. The kick, Magic Benton to the 19-yard line. He's tripped up there with 2:55 remaining. John Vertigan with the special teams tackle for the Peoria Pirates. Florida has set 5 new rushing records tonight, 3 individual and 2 team records in Arena Cup play. Cornell Craig also tying a record, as we told you earlier, for touchdown receptions in the Arena Cup game. We appreciate the AF2 media staff who have been helping us with those records tonight, along with our erstwhile statistician Brian Roberts, who is always alongside. Benton in motion. Josh Rogers looking for magic over the shoulder. Touchdown. Touchdown, beating Lincoln Dupree 31 yards. So 31 yards, Josh Rogers. And that shows you the importance of that onside kick that wasn't played well, but they ran back for a TD.
Well, Josh Rogers comes in, and the last 2 plays, he's looked like a dang good quarterback, and I'm sure he wishes he would have had these opportunities earlier on in the game, but it may be a little late, but they're still fighting, and that's what you got to love about a team. If they're going to continue to play, or are they going to quit? And let's see what kind of character the guys from Florida have.
Going for 2, clearly. Kevin Huntley, the motion man. Going his way for the 2-point conversion. Kevin Huntley. So, in a never say die manner, indeed, the Florida Firecats are hanging right in there, but the deficit of 58-41 with 2 minutes remaining is awfully tough to overcome. Nice 2-point conversion to Huntley.
Well, Huntley just comes and drifts in over the middle and sits there. Lincoln Dupree's trying to help out, thinking he's going to be coming across the field, and it's just too late getting over there on the throw by Josh Rogers.
Somebody call for a Subway sandwich? Was that Jared down there? I don't believe it was he. Some of the Florida fans who've made the trip up from Fort Myers and areas in that general neighborhood. And the folks who have made the trip from crosstown to dance for your viewing pleasure. What's next for you, Mike Holt? You've got The Augusta Stallions having wrapped up a season with a share of the East title. I know there's some questions as to how things will shape up in Augusta next year. What do you have going here in the offseason?
Well, I'll tell you, my plan is to go back to Augusta, but
on the onside kick here, football taken by Titcus. Pettigrew. Pettigrew thought about a lateral.
Hang on to it.
He'll just eat it at the 16-yard line.
That was a smart thing to do. Don't throw the ball away. Let your offense kill the clock. But as far as me, you know, I don't know what's going to happen in Augusta, but, you know, you just kind of got it. I don't know. I'll go home and
the sign is out. We'll coach for food.
Yeah, exactly. We'll coach for food. Look for a job. You know, hopefully some of these guys that I've been in this league with for so long will step up to the plate and give me one. What do you think?
I would think you're deserving, no doubt about it.
Oh, shoot. No, this is a great league, and I tell you, I just look forward to staying in this thing along a lot more.
13-3, a share of the Eastern Division title for Mike's team in Augusta, Georgia this year. Inside of a minute and a half remaining, they're just going to hand it off now. Robert Meyer will lumber forward. Timeout being taken by Florida. They're going to use their final timeout right here as the season has wound down to the final 81 ticks of the clock. Been a good year in AF2, expanding to 34 teams, and as we said, spanning from South Florida all the way up north, out west to Bakersfield and San Diego, and the Hawaiian Islanders really coming on well at the end of the year at the Blaisdell Arena. The crowds in Honolulu and Oahu were over 5,000 a ball game at Blaisdell.
But once they finally got, you know, the problem in Hawaii, what happened is they had a bunch of guys that had never played the game. They had some coaches that had never coached it. So it took them a while to gel and to learn the game. Once they did, and about mid-season, they started turning it on. They started winning ball games. And that's amazing. You know, the thing about this league, and like I said, it's a tough game. You just don't come in and expect to be a superstar. You've got to learn the game, and it takes a while.
Team in Fresno, California this year. Lots of expansion and more yet to come. Of course, in the Arena Football League next year, Denver is in, Philadelphia is in. Lots of excitement in both of those cities. Pettigrew in motion. Myers, sloppy handoff from Walt Church, but they managed to get it back. Robert Meyer covering the bad handoff as we close in on the 1-minute warning now. The clock will stop with 1:07. They'll count it down to 1 minute. And the referee will tell us at that point that the Pirates have 2 timeouts remaining and the Firecats have none. If you're not familiar with the rules in the Arena Football League or AF2, the team that is leading cannot just take a knee to run the clock out. You must try to advance the football. So when you see Peoria trying to do something with the ball here, they're not rubbing salt into the wound. By rule, they have to try and do something with it.
Absolutely, and that's a great rule for the, and it favors Florida in this situation. But if they don't get the positive yards, then it's almost like an automatic timeout. It's great. It's a great situation for the team from behind. And the whole thing about arena football with the nets and everything, it's all about action, and they don't want people sitting down and taking fair catch in or taking knees.
Pettigrew in motion. Meyer, they don't hand it to him, but Walt Church keeps it. Meyer watches him go by. 12 yards. Touchdown, Walter Church. And now the fat lady is well into her opening aria.
Right here, you're going to see that you can call it a load or a quarterback follow. He just follows the fullback up the hole, just trying to get that extra yard so that they can keep the clock running. Finds a wide open hole. Walt Church, being a good athlete, takes it all the way in for the touchdown.
Now the kick by Craig Baker. Tell you, Peoria last week scoring 79. That kick makes it 65-41 here tonight. So from the fourth quarter of that San Diego game through the Birmingham game and now into ArenaCup, this team has been like a jaguar hitting on all 12 cylinders.
They sure have, and I'll tell you, Bruce Cowdrey and his staff they've done a great job of getting these guys prepared and keeping them focused. You know, last night you could tell at the banquet that they had for these two teams, honoring the two teams plus the guys that had won the awards, Peoria just had a little bit different demeanor going on. They were focused. You could tell that they were there. They were going to go home, get a good night's rest, and get back here ready to play. And it's exactly what they've done. They've done it in a business-like fashion and just taken it to Florida tonight.
Peoria's head coach, Bruce Cowdrey, was last year in Pensacola after leading Peoria in the Indoor Football League to a championship. We told you earlier he was with the Canadian Football League's Toronto Argonauts, their offensive coordinator when they won the Grey Cup in '91. Collegiately, he's been at Indiana State, Oklahoma State, Purdue, Northwestern, South Carolina, and Missouri. He was at Missouri back in the days when they said, oh my goodness, we've got to play Missouri, as opposed to the days where it's, oh great, we're playing Missouri. He was there in their heyday offensively. The kick goes out of bounds. That'll be a penalty. Football will come out to the 20-yard line. And the football sails wide of the nets and goes into the stands. The kickoff penalty.
Ball will be placed at the 20-yard line, first down.
To the 20. Same penalty you would have had if the kickoff had hit the scoreboard. The largest single penalty that they have in the indoor game. And there's the souvenir for that gentleman. So 55 seconds remain. For Florida, it is a 6:10 a.m. flight from here back to Atlanta and on to Fort Myers tomorrow. I'm betting at 6:10 tomorrow morning the Pirates might just be getting in from some of their post-game parties.
You can bet on that, that's for sure. It's been a long year, and I'm sure they're going to go out and celebrate, and deservingly so.
Magic Benton in motion. Josh Rogers on the screen. There's nobody there. And Josh eats a little carpet for his efforts.
Well, Josh was waiting for Magic Benton to get down the field and get into his post route, but Lincoln Dupree was just kept playing off, not giving him an opportunity to break down the cushion. Josh had to hold on to the ball, and it's given the lineman from Peoria a lot of time to get in there and get to him.
Just 51 seconds remaining as you see Damon Gibson, big number 77 there for Peoria. Former University of Pittsburgh, all Big East standout. Kevin Huntley in motion on the 2nd and 10. Across the middle, a lot of that's been happening tonight off the fingertips of Terrell Sutton. He's been to camp with the Cowboys. Sutton has with the Green Bay Packers. He played in the XFL. He's been in the National Indoor Football League. He played for John Forcade there. But tonight, just not their night.
It's not the same fire that they've had. But you know why? It's because Peoria's come and taken them out of their ball game. Peoria took control of this ball game, and it tried to give it back to them, but took it back again, and it just kept Florida guessing the whole night. They just haven't been in sync like they had in the prior 3 playoff games.
You run into a team that scores 144 points in their last 2 ball games, and you're walking into a buzzsaw. Florida throws, nearly intercepted by Lincoln Dupree, trying to put an exclamation point on this game and on his season, but couldn't quite come up with it atop the strands of carpet. So 40 seconds remain in this one. Post-game celebrations for that man and others. We'll be bringing them to you as time permits on our telecast. Fourth down and 10. Could be the last play of the season for the Firecats. Josh Rogers looks, throws, complete. Huntley keeps it alive inside the 15, down to the 10-yard line. Brandon Campbell in on the stop for Peoria. We're down to 31 seconds remaining.
Well, Peoria's doing right now is just trying to keep everything underneath them. They don't want to give him the easy score. They're playing a loose man coverage, picking up guys when they come deep. They'll give up the underneath route, but then they're going to come up and make the tackle. Just don't give them the cheap touchdown.
You know, the Arena Cup may need to be renamed the Illini Cup. Because you think about it, all 3 years the championship has been won by a team in Illinois. Quad Cities playing in Moline at the mark of the Quad Cities. And now here in Peoria, Illinois. Rogers throws, wide open, touchdown, Kevin Huntley. So Kevin Huntley, his first touchdown of the evening, an 11-yard touchdown from Rogers to Huntley.
They just run a double post. They flood the right side. They've got Huntley in the deep post. And number 1, Magic Benton on the short post. He just settles down in between the zone and catches the ball. Good throw by Josh Rogers. Way to see it. Way to put it on the money.
5 plays, 30 yards in 30 seconds. Florida, who already owns the Arena Cup record for the most 2-point conversions in a single ball game, will try to add to their own record right here. They've got 47 points. Interesting motion right there as Rogers throws that one away, and it is incomplete. Ken Bowie was in to pressure the quarterback. Looks like for the second time this year, Florida will score 40 or more and come up on the short end. They trail 65-47 with 25 seconds remaining. So 65-47 is the score. Peoria on top. Mike, exclusive of these two teams who have made it to the championship game, and taking your team out of the equation just for fairness sake, though you guys were 13-3, where else was the power in the league this year?
Well, I tell you, there was quite a few other teams that I thought would probably be in this game rather than these two. Richmond for one, they were 12-4. Cape Fear, first-year coach Chris Siegfried comes in and he takes them to 13-3.
That's the team in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Kevin Porter in Macon, Georgia, great team down there. We shared the division title with them. Actually, they won it, I guess, because of we beat them by 1 and they beat us by 3, but they were a great team. Tallahassee was a good football team. Florida came in and took them out. Albany, Ron Zaleski up there. They went 13-3 with an expansion team. He won Coach of the Year. He did a wonderful job. Skip Foster in Tulsa.
Bobby Humphrey in Birmingham.
I mean, you can go on. The list goes on. This is a tough league. You're not going to win every game.
Onside kick off. Brandon Campbell into the stand, so it will be Peoria ball with 25 seconds remaining. 65-47 the score. The fight is a good one right there, and that gentleman. I wonder if they will sue one another like they are for the baseballs that we're seeing flying into the crowds lately. You see, it says Bradley on the walls there, as we mentioned before, the Bradley Braves. Bradley University playing their home basketball games here out of the Missouri Valley Conference. It's also home to the East Coast Hockey League's team.
And I can't forget Art Clarkson's team there in Tennessee Valley with Kevin Guy. They also went.
Did Art just call you on the cell phone? And what was that?
No, but I have a feeling he might have left a message with my owner, Frank Lawrence, if I didn't say it.
Titcus Pettigrew in motion. Give to Meyer. And he'll work inside the 15 to the 14, and that is going to wind this clock down to a conclusion. 65-47. Peoria will outlast everybody and win Arena Cup 2002 in front of the hometown fans at the Peoria Civic Center. The celebrations continue in Peoria. Back with the postgame next.
You're watching the Vision Channel.